Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. And we have some fantastic people in this country, and with the greatest and the heaviest of hearts, we had a discussion scheduled for today in relation to a fantastic conference for the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. Understanding the gravity of the situation that transpired last evening and recognizing the importance of having the public share, our fantastic guests have been so gracious to say let's accept the invitation to reschedule that discussion in order to allow our listeners to share their growing concerns. Now we're going to take a quick break, do our normal thing, but a quick reminder, the government has a press briefing scheduled for 3 p.m. today, so give us a shout and share your thoughts. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. We've got an opportunity to share with you if you want. We recognize that many of us may be feeling a certain way. So again, we've had guests scheduled at the outset from the Rotary. There's a health screening coming up. We're going to do our best to reschedule them, but understanding, as I shared it just moments ago, the sensitivity, the gravity, how many of us may be feeling. Our phone lines are available if you wish to call and share your thoughts. 949-8837, 949-6990. Okay. Update. Only the 949-6990 is working. The WhatsApp call may still be there, 925-3261. And share your thoughts with us. How do I put this? Probably not anyone in this country, whether they are here now or here before, whether they are, perhaps, connected to people here because they worked or they have family or they visited. This is growing concern. Let's take this first call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
I'm excellent. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Just concerned and want to know where we're heading next.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. Are you able to hear me as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening to you. I can say to you with all sincerity and respect, I'm intently listening to you, no matter if I am trying to multitask, but my priority is hearing and listening, actively engaged in what you're sharing.
Yes. Sterling, there's a lot of unanswered questions in this island, and we don't know when we're going to get them answered, when are we going to get more protection at our borders, by the sea or air or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
We need some more protection on this island. I think it is very, very slack what is happening for
Hmm.
such a small island,
It is, yeah.
and we have no accountability. How the guns are getting in here, who is the headmaster of the drugs, and we can't seems to get that individual to pull down to do what we have to do, I guess, with that individual or whatever the case may be, Sterling. But Sterling, you know, Cayman needs God more than ever. I don't care what nobody they say, whoever's a Christian, the Christian who's not a Christian, that it is their belief. But Cayman need God more than ever. Our young people is being led astray with TV, this technology. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of noise. Yeah,
Okay, we
the
can hear you
technology
clearly.
is technology is good. Then again, it's bad, and all of the media that we don't have a TV station to call our own. From the day that Cayman 27 went down, Cayman has not been the same when it comes to giving news. I see I was in West Bay last week Tuesday trying to get the price right before I went to my job, right?
Uh-huh.
And I backed up on an accident. And I had to, and then they had some road work further down by the Kimpton. I say, you imagine, we don't even have a radio station that could give us update. In other words, if you can avoid from taking that road, you take another road. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
In the U.S., they have a radio station that can tell you about the airport, the traveling time, and blah blah blah, and blah 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 blah. We ain't got nothing. We are small, Sterling, but we are big. You understand? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I just hear a lot of noise.
Okay, we're not hearing any noise on our end. Just let me check with our other side.
That's okay. It just goes.
Clear?
It's okay. You clear right now.
Yeah,
That's
you are sounding absolutely. This is, the most sort of audible we've been able to hear you. There's no static. There's nothing. We're hearing you perfectly.
Oh yes.
Mm.
And like I was saying, we don't have no warnings on the road to a degree. We have a little bit, but I still feel we should have a more update especially when things happen. Try to avoid this road. Try to avoid that road. Stuff if you're on your lunch hour, or trying to get a doctor appointment or something in the sort, or trying to get someone to the hospital. Take a detour if there's possible to take a detour. We're too sit back and passive and too comfortable in this island to see what is happening. And it seems like there's so many blind eyes to what is happening to a degree. I don't know what we are afraid of bringing out our laws and putting these laws more in effect and more powerful with fines and prisons or whatever it may take to get this place in some comfort. Can can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you said, yeah. But
Uh-huh.
as I listen to you, though, I'm asking, we're seeing a lot that's transpiring. And is there another caller, my friend? Okay. Just want to make sure I'm paying attention to you and also what they're sharing with me on the other side. Let's ask a couple of questions. We hear people talk about progress and the like. And as I was saying to a fine gentleman earlier, his questions are, I think, timely. Is this the price of progress? Is this what progress looks like? Are we willing to accept it? And if we ask, well, first off, are we asking the questions? And if we ask, what are the answers? And is progress,
Not all progress is good. Progress comes with a lot of things, crimes and a lot of things come with progress.
But okay, so to you and to everybody listening, does that make sense? Does a country moving forward, progress, does that have to mean that you have an increase in crime? Okay, you may have an increase in population. Doesn't even mean that. Someone else would say yes, some would say no. Now, is that progress? Is increased traffic congestion, as the final gentleman was asking, increase road rage, frustrations, other things that are happening?
It's not good progress.
But no, but that can't be progress. I mean, progress.
No.
A literal interpretation, definition of the word progress would mean something better than what you have. You may be progressing. See, the English is such a crappy language, right? You know, you may be progressing from point A to point B. Doesn't mean that you're moving in a positive direction or in a best way. But if you're in a country and you're making progress, you're hoping that your people's standard of living and quality of life has improved, the access to healthcare and education and housing, they're no longer homeless and hungry. That would be progress, right? But if you have open borders and guns that can be brought in without, licensing, does it apply for only people visiting and resettling the country, or does it apply to a person leaving Grand Cayman or the Sister Islands, heading off to some other jurisdiction, purchasing, an assault rifle, bringing it into the country, but has declared the documents and say, hey, I'm bringing in this thing, would it apply to RPGs and other kind of weapons of mass destruction?
Sterling, we used to have gun amnesty here. Have you had any lately? I don't think we had any since COVID opened up.
I had a yeah. Well, listen. Let me listen. Let me listen. Good question. What else you want to share?
Sterling, I'm so heavy right now that this is not the end. This is just the beginning.
And
I am asking all the churches. I don't care what nomination or domination, whatever they're correct. What is no disrespect to it.
Yeah.
We need to come together and help this island in so many ways.
Yes, well.
And we need to do something about our seas or air traffic. It seems to be a little bit too slack, a bit too comfortable. We got a flight coming from a destination twice per day. That's 7 days a week. What is the purpose? In 99.9%, they're more empty going out than they are full practically coming in. Sterling, I have nothing against anybody coming here, but we are getting destroyed by the minute.
Yes, well.
And nothing is being done to a degree.
Right. But you recognize, right, what you're saying, like many of us, we're being, as best as we can, very polite and respectful, and we're speaking, in almost in a coded way. All of us, you, me, and everybody, we're not willing to speak directly to the thing or ask a question directly because I think we don't want to be offensive or being seen as such. We certainly don't want to be labeled as anti-foreign or anti-this nationality or whichever, right? But if privately all that is being said is the same thing, but nobody is saying it publicly, not the governor, not the elected government, not the senior politicians, not the pastors, not the preachers, right? Not the principals in the school, not the parents, nobody. And yet
Sterling.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly, I agree with you. I agree with you. And if we don't start coming together, it's going to get even worse than this. And
sadly.
What we are so afraid of coming together.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is, but something got to wake us up even more than this. This is just a touch of the iceberg.
Yes, ma'am.
Next year's election, God forbid.
Unless it's this year. I mean, why do we have to wait? Or maybe we should postpone it. Who knows? Yes, ma'am.
Exactly, but to say next year, so I went with that.
No, I'm just being deliberate, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
but,
ma'am.
Sterling, really and truly, something needs to be done. And this thing about us going independent, I don't know if that would even help us. If we were to go independent, are we going to get stricter laws, better laws, and people are going to obey in respect and so forth and so forth? All of the cows that run in the pen, we can't get them back in the pen. The only place to get them back now is when they take a visit wherever to their country.
Yeah.
Mark it out.
Let me ask.
If I go in, I got to mark me out. You mark me out.
Right.
I'm going to go in. My time is up in America or Jamaica or wherever.
Mhm.
You know.
Before we go to the break, you said something has to be done, right? We all say that, but there are many of us who say, something got to be done. Somebody got to do something. Can I respectfully ask? Any thoughts from your perspective of those solutions? What are some of those things?
Well, still, we all say something need to be done.
Yes, Mom.
And I know that the majority of us are saying that the governments, past, present, and future governments need to be more sterner with this island. We are just looking at the dollar bill and the investors coming here to do what they are doing, and the average person that's trying to live here can't live to that degree because the cost of living is killing us.
Yes, Mom.
And we out here doing things that we don't want to do, but we end up doing it, and sorry that we did it later on down the line.
Right.
And when you jump to the spur moment to do something, you think 45 minutes later, man, I wish I never had did that. Why did I did that? The mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah.
But the mind can trigger off very easily. And when you trigger out, the first thing I say, oh, they got a mental problem. They got a mental problem. Everything I don't think is a mental problem.
Yeah. Listen, thanks for sharing, okay?
Yes, you take care. Thanks.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Let's pause. Let's take a break. When we come back, one phone line, one number. Was it 949-62990? As well as the WhatsApp call. 925-3261. If you want to call and share your thoughts, we have, again, very, very thankful to our scheduled guests. And it's an open line. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sharing with us. We'll take the next call, but the phone lines are available 949-6990 or WhatsApp call 925-3261. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Lord Sterling.
I appreciate you always being respectful, and I got respectful to share with you. Only the good Lord in heaven, probably for me, my dad is Mr. For me, it's just me. But thank you, man. How are you, sir?
Oh, not too bad. But what I really would like to say now, I tried the politics once,
Try it again.
But I wouldn't mind if me and you were amongst the House of Lords.
Well, my friend, but talk to me. What would be first off, what would we set out to try to achieve?
Well, a part of the responsibilities with the House of Lords, they're sort of the UK government is into militarized sort of movements and stuff like that. They're into military stuff, You know how that is.
Trying to know.
But I kind of I used to like to see leaders with, the military guards on and stuff like that,
Why?
It's a sense of power and control.
So you like having the power and control, or being controlled and have people having power over you? Which one?
I believe in, let's put it this way. I believe in the House of Lords. I believe in the House of Lords, and I believe in control and to keep things in the proper order and perspective. I mean, I don't know if you see what I'm saying, but like I say, I'm saying something, when I say I wouldn't mind if me and you were part of the House of Lords. An idea crossed my mind one time. I would like to see a Caymanian, and if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Caymanian run for office in the UK.
I'm going to respond to you by trying to see if I can paraphrase this message, right? But let's go back to what you were sharing. You and I, and others, and I'll take it that you're going in the premise of us being part of, when you say House of Lords, being part of the political elected and appointed so that we can make laws and policies and, direct the government of the day. Is that what I'm hearing?
To some great extent, of course.
Right. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to answer that more publicly in a second after you, if you have anything else to say. If not, we'll take the other call. You let me know. Anything else you want to share?
Not right now, but
right.
Yeah.
You can always call back, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the WhatsApp number is there too if you find that to be, more convenient for you. 925-3261.
But hello?
Yes, sir. No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening. Go ahead.
But when it concerns the military, it is east, west, north, and south, and more than that.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, man. All right.
All right.
Take care, man. Thanks very much. And let's invite anybody who wants to share a perspective. 949-6990. I know 949-6990. That's the only. Can you still say hard line? Is that how we do it? That's the only non-cell, number 949-6990. I'm told that's the one that's working right now. The WhatsApp call is 925-3261. And to the gentleman that just called, and recognizing that many of us, once we either heard because we were close by, or sadly, watching the game last evening, or whether we heard about it after, or seeing some imagery or the like. Not just have been talking about it, they're probably concerned. Words like mass shooting have now been bandied about, and could, by some, definition, be extended to this. There is going to probably be a lot of speculation that may or may not be helpful. The policing apparatus might say, no, don't get into that because that'll compromise our investigations and whichever. So we won't, speculate publicly about any of it. We would hope that as a country, to the gentleman's call, then decide, well, something needs to be done, and what that is, and how do we respond? Do we say, as he has, well, now police and by extension the military needs to get in? Does that mean, as he said, power and control, and you impose martial law and suspend freedoms? And if you think, well, that's not possible, look at what they did during COVID. Law-abiding, healthy people were told, stay inside. Don't come outside your house. Stay inside your house. Laws and regulations were issued, interpreted and implemented and enforced in such a way that potentially you could have been fined and in prison, at least under the threat of being such. And we saw it in some cases, young people and the like, and others being given favorable treatment, all sorts of things. So democracy is under threat. Civility and sanity is being out the door, and it seems that otherwise good senses are no longer being being front and center. Now, as emotive as we may get, as frustrated as we are, as probably traumatized as some of us, maybe, are we looking after our health and well-being, calling up our psychiatrists and psychologists and having a chat to make sure that we are okay? Let me hear from you, because talking might be one way to address it. Doing might be a better way, but what does that doing look like, and how is it going to be informed? 949-6990, or WhatsApp call as we go to the phones, 925-3261. We'll take this next call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm not too bad, I guess. How are you?
Very well, sir. I just want to let the other WhatsApp call know that we can only take one WhatsApp call, so the other two, we'll get to them secondly. I am well, sir.
Yeah, okay. I was just saying, I don't want to happen to these islands. Got a mass shooting last night in West Bay. I mean, they got to do something about the drug business. All coming through drugs, The minister come on, got me on radio about need more stiffer laws for little rent. Okay, but say what about more for crime and drug pushers, and drugs are what causing the ruination of all these islands. Imagine Cameron Bracket 12 miles by 1.5, and there's nothing but drugs here, and they don't do nothing about it. What's going on?
That's a growing concern, that even if, respectfully, sir, not anybody's not saying what you're saying isn't correct, but even if that wasn't, and that was the perception, what is the country doing about it, as you said, So why do you think, as a country, from the police to the parents to the politicians, all of us, why do you think we're ignoring or not doing anything about what's going on?
Well, the politicians need to make stiffer laws for the criminals and the drug pushers, and they need to be carried out to the hilt. I mean, I see where people have been deported for criminals activity, and they allow them to come back for graduations and funerals and birthdays and all that crap. You're deported, you're a criminal, you can't come back forever.
Okay, so...
How many birthday and graduation things we see in this? That's everything is for the criminals, it seems like to me. Yeah. Eat some up here, eat some up there, they got rights, they got this and that. You kill somebody, you're not got no rights. Yeah. It looked to me like everybody is in love with crime or something, because there's nothing they did about it.
Yeah. To your understanding...
we got a mass shooting in West Bay. Suppose some tourists had been there and got killed.
Well,
I mean, the island's going down, and everybody just yap, and doing nothing about it.
Yeah, I respect what you're saying, that we would want to take care of visitors to our personal homes, visitors to our shores, as you said, tourists. But would it matter if that was a tourist or somebody who's been here forever, a young child or an elderly person?
No, it doesn't matter when it comes to life, but I wasn't talking about it on a tourist.
I understand you. I understand.
Some feeds the island in a sense.
Yes, sir.
I mean, only on that side, why I said it, not that it means in a matter.
No.
It actually, it's the same life as life.
No, I agree.
That's the reason I mentioned that.
No, and I do recognize that's what you meant, but I think for many of us, we see potentially how we're going to look internationally, how the tourists, and I wonder to what extent. The reason why I wanted to ask you that, my perception of you being not just very intelligent, but very experienced and very aware of what's going on from what you shared before, right? And as you said, as a seaman, you've seen the globe. So to that point, is it then as a country, like we may be accused of doing as a family, we keep things quiet because we don't want people to see, we don't want to get a bad image, and it'll make us look bad, and we'll discourage investors and tourists and all that. Do you think that's happening in the country? We're kind of ignoring the source.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a big problem with Cayman and keeping their mouth shut about just about everything.
Yes, sir.
They don't want to say nothing. They want somebody else to say it, and then after somebody else say it and something done, then they'll brag about they said it and they done it, and so forth. But in the meantime, they're saying nothing. Don't want to say nothing. And afraid to say anything.
Yeah. So let me ask then, right? To your understanding, the people that were deported and then they're allowed to come back here, is it your understanding that they came back here for a day, a week, however long, but at the end of that time, whether it's for a birthday or a graduation or a funeral or whatever the reason is, they've come back for that time, for that event? Have they now been taken back out, removed, told to leave, or are they still here, to your understanding?
No, I really can't answer the question,
Right.
because I want to go by what I see on news, say
No,
they're
no.
allowed to come back for these
Right.
special occasions, but I don't know how long because they wasn't on the news, how long they were allowed to stay.
Right. So do
And
you
if
think
you're the criminal, you come back for 24 hours, you can do a lot of crime in 24 hours,
you
know?
can? So do you think that it
You
would?
deported should be for life.
Right.
Never mind about birthday, graduation, whatever. You caused it,
Right.
So you stay away. You can't come back no time.
But that's the
But they make a law for the criminals. Look
Yeah.
like to me to ease up the criminals.
yeah.
The
Right.
criminal killed somebody, and then they say, but they got a right to family life. And what about the dead man? Didn't he have a right for family life too?
Mm-hmm. You've been declared persona non grata, right?
Seems crazy to me,
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I don't mean to. What else you want to share?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think something needed to be did and did fast, because now we started this shooting last night. This only the beginning of that. All the kind of gone shooting around, but now this is something new again.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be 3 strikes and you're out at least. You do something, you go to jail, you can do it, come on, do it again. Next time you don't come out no more. You stay there. When you come out, you're dead.
Like, yeah.
They need to do something,
Yeah. So what do we do? You're on a ship and you see her adrift, engine room telling you your port engine got a little problem. We got a problem. So what is your suggestion as a possible solution? What do we do to address this?
Well, my suggestion is to make harsher more longer terms jail and for criminals and hard drug pushers.
Okay.
Like I said, 3 strikes and you're out. For drug pushers, you go one time.
Right.
You do it the second time, but you get caught the third time, then there's no coming back out of jail. You go for life. Singapore, they hang you for it, And here is so little, and they give you 1 or 2 years, and that's it,
I
The
hear
more
you.
you do it again, they do it again.
Right.
Sometimes they had a murder up in jail, they came out and he nearly killed somebody and let him out. Then they went back and let him out again the third time, and they robbed people again. What's wrong with these laws here?
Okay. All right. Well, maybe not, as you said, not only, harsher penalties and stuff, or, but maybe enforcement,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you need
Yes,
to
sir.
enforce it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they got lots of laws on the books that is not enforced,
Right.
and they need to be enforced.
Okay.
Littering is okay. I agree, littering is serious something, but drugs is more serious.
Yes, sir. Well,
Drugs are ruination of any country.
Yeah.
Years ago, you seen about along the street begging and homeless because people never got into drugs. Everybody had a little house. Everybody took a job if it wasn't your kind of job you wanted, but you take it before you end up begging. But now you see beggars all over the place and people homeless because of drugs.
Yeah.
And they're too easy on drugs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, too easy on drugs. You catch selling drugs, you got to go to jail more. And like I said, 3 strikes you out. The third time you go for life, you come out when you're dead. You need to do something about the drug business. Drugs are causing crime, are causing homeless, are causing all kinds of things that is carry the country down.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, I just want to get my point across.
No, thank you for doing that.
Some people don't understand about it.
Yeah, but I certainly hear you, and I was listening. But thank you for sharing, sir.
Thank you, and you have a good day.
You too, sir. You too. And this is why we house open. I'm going to pause. There's another call. We'll take that in a second. But to the gentleman's call, is it unreasonable to ask the question? People, as you said, who were deported and they've been allowed back, do we know that they have now been removed again after being allowed back? Is that an unreasonable question to ask? Well, we'll pause, we'll take this break, then we take the call. Stay tuned.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Branso's Home Gallery, we believe in love at first sight, especially when it comes to closets. And we're spreading the love by offering 15% off on custom closets throughout the month of February. Let our experts design the closet you've been dreaming of, a functional space that's perfect for you. Save 15% on all custom closets this February at Brand Source Custom Closets. You dream it, we'll design it and build it. Visit Ranso's Home Gallery today for a free in-store consultation. Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Phone 623-6774.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, good afternoon, and we're going to just take this next call, I believe, on our WhatsApp. Welcome, thanks for calling. Yeah, hello?
Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Uh-huh.
How are you?
Not so good. Why, first of all, I would like to give my prayers and everybody that were not shooting the other night there.
Right. Just so that I can let the listener know, right? And thank you for that. We can only take one WhatsApp call at a time. We have another one coming in. Well, it'd be good if we could do a group call. But anyway, your prayers, like mine, like everybody else's, man, much appreciated. All right?
Yeah, but that is very hard to know what's going on. That went on now in this island, you know?
Yeah, man.
And it kind of got me shook up, for real.
Hey, listen. You saying that, right? And I hope people don't take that lightly, because that could translate to another word that people use, or traumatize, right?
Yeah.
And
the
you
more direct word.
Yeah, no. So I appreciate you saying shook up, because that is not something that we should ignore. I mean, you hearing about it, and look at how you feel. So talk to me. How can I listen?
Yeah. Well, it kind of easy for everybody to just blame it on drugs. You understand? That's a easy little way, but like what he talking about is stricter sentences. Well, you imagine you got people up in there, right, for nothing other than ganja or whatever. Like I said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it go. You get up in there, starting with ganja.
Mm-hmm.
You up in there 18 years for ganja. The prison gonna be full. Like they gonna fill the prison up with so many years and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you get out, you don't got no help when you get out. And just so you know, like the more it illegal, the more the price go up. So like all the other places that illegal, the real drug dealers, them, the ones that they run with guns and knives and bulletproof vests and all that. That's how they like it. They like it more with more illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Cause the price is more, you understand? Supply and demand. But when illegal and it regulated by the people, by the government or whatever, you can see that almost everybody get a little chunk of it. And just so I just let you know like how this ganja association going around the world, right? They got up to $1.5 million to lend you to start your business and anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what starts crime? Crime is when you don't have no money, right?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting as I listen to what you share and reading what other people are, trying to comment on and stuff, right? So you talk. I mean,
and hold on. They try and say, hear them say, but it's not important. But the whole roots of how it started is true you either getting smelled out or like I say, you know what I mean, getting looked at a certain way and you be like, oh, he's suspicious, so let me check. All the while now you just came on in your own little island. So what do you think they'll do? Shoot everybody that got ganja? You think that how we gonna go? You say you want a house, right? But you gonna vote for the same person that only come in by your vote with a fridge and a stove, and you don't got a house put it in, or a turkey and a ham.
Yeah.
No, no. The people have the power, The people have the power. So don't let them tell you about these politicians. No more waiting on them. You have to tell them what time it is. All I know is, like I say, if the source of the problem is people not having money, well, you don't give us our own. You understand? Out each other not having no money.
Mm-hmm.
Why I either gotta be jail or I work my life today and still don't have no money. Because when you go get them loans and mortgage loans and all that, you pay them off till all you 18, 19 something years old and what. You pass on the loan to your children or what. So come on, man. I mean, it is a world of hypocrisy, and it's like they love it. It's like they love it.
There's so many questions that are not being asked, and I wonder to what extent they would even be ventured and, worse yet, attempted to be answered. Right? But anyway, we got a news break, right? Do we have some other calls, my friend? Okay, a couple of people trying to get through, but I don't want you to think that what you have to say is any less than. Anything else you want to share?
Just one last thing.
Of
you
course.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You got $1.5 million to start a business to keep you making money. And how you would tell somebody then that they lazy if they got their loan and they get their business? What, you mad because they get it different than you? Come on, man. It really look zealous and bad mind. Like what I say, I pray for the people that got shot. And I also pray for the people that do the shooting because it's nothing but bad mind in them that make them do that. And that's a culture of what this is,
Yeah, man.
Bless up everybody.
All right, listen, take care, man. Thanks, and take care of yourself, all right? If, as we go into the news break, you're like what the caller has said, you feel shook up, traumatized, you feel uneasy, unsettled, reach out to your psychologist, your therapist, your psychiatrist, and there's no shame in that. There's courage in thinking about it. You might say, well, I didn't witness it, I only heard about it. But if it's still affecting you in a negative way, making you feel, in my parlance, away, please call at least your GP, speak to your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your therapist. All right, when we come back, more open line.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman, Cayman right.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
7 people are injured and in hospital after Sunday night's shooting that took place at a football field in West Bay. Emergency services were sent to the Ed Bush Football Stadium after reports of shots fired just outside the changing rooms around 9 p.m. Further updates are expected. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A U.S. airman has died after setting himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. The man was identified by police as 25-year-old Aaron Bushnell of San Antonio, Texas. Officers from the U.S. Secret Service extinguished the flames before the man was taken to hospital on Sunday afternoon. And Donald Trump is appealing against a New York judge's ruling that he must pay $454 million in penalties and interest in a civil fraud case. This month's judgment was $355 million, but the amount has soared with interest, which will keep rising by at least $112,000 per day. New York Attorney General Letitia James has said if Mr. Trump does not pay, she will seek to seize some of his assets. He was found to have inflated property values to obtain better loan terms. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
HSA's Urgent Care Clinic is now open 7 days per week to serve you better. Visit our dedicated team at Urgent Care, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and weekends and public holidays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. No appointment necessary. If you are experiencing non-life-threatening symptoms and conditions, such as the cold and flu, sprains and cuts, earaches, nausea and vomiting, visit Urgent Care's walk-in clinic at the main entrance of the Georgetown Hospital, now open every day. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman-Brac on 9th September 1937. Fondly known as Big H to his family and friends, following a 5-year career at sea, Mr. Hinton returned to Cayman-Brac, taking up work with Brac Power and Light Company for 3 years prior to moving to Grand Cayman, where he commenced employment with Cable and Wireless in March 1966. Big H would eventually move back to Cayman-Brac, working his way up from a linesman to a supervisor throughout the 29 years of employment with Cable and Wireless, eventually retiring in August 1994. Following his retirement, Mr. Hinton continued to do electrical work for the many people of Cayman-Brac. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. It is Open Line. Again, as we take the calls, thanks to our friends from Rodeo Central, from the Chartered Surveyors of Society here, and from our own Education Ministry for allowing us to reschedule in light of what transpired and is transpiring to facilitate our callers. As we go to the phones, hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Sterling.
And to you. How are you today?
I'm well, for the most part. And yourself?
Oh, man, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. There are a few things in my heart and on my mind that may emanate from my lips, but let me see if I can remain pensive, but at the same time, attentive.
I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that, and perhaps the reasons why I'm calling you.
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
Yeah, man. I don't know how your show began. I only just zoomed in just a few minutes ago. I don't know if you had anybody on. It sounds like you had some people scheduled, but you decided to cancel them away.
Well, how I would put it, and there is nobody on. It is certainly open line. So how I would put it is we had guests scheduled, right? We had the Road to Central talk about their health screening that's coming up Saturday. We had the Education Ministry. We've got a WhatsApp call coming in, so we'll take that in a second. We've had Ministry or representatives of Education talking about, but understandably, I think this is, as much as I try to plan and program and produce my shows in weeks and months, these things happen, right? So they're very amenable, and I'm so gracious to all of the scheduled guests for accepting, the recommendation.
Thank you for explaining. I gathered as much from your short thing that you just said a while ago, and
yes, sir.
That's being in tune with the community
and
what we're feeling. Because quite honestly, this morning, I love the show this morning, the show in the mornings, I should say. But I was kind of perplexed that we had a major incident in our country, and we were talking about another country. So. That's where I want to go, Dwayne.
Yes, I want to listen to you. Yes.
I'm a little surprised that we haven't had, I don't know if there's a plan and if you have it from a media perspective, that, I'd like to hear our chief of police and all those who are, in control addressing what took place last night as far as advising us what they believe happened or what they know so far. I'm sure they're gathering a lot of stuff, but we should be having a conversation. We shouldn't be acting like this is an everyday thing. And we don't need, somebody told me, but there's some beef between Westman and George. Don't start that kind of stupidness, man. You listen, all I could think about when I was calling you, Sterling, was where we ended off on Friday, where I didn't get to finish with you. So I had a little muse in my head that I was going to, I'm going to share with you. You remember when I said, I asked you about that gentleman, and he said that your minds are not in control. So is that only just for the good stuff? So should if we take his thoughts, then are they, whoever they is, are they responsible for the bad stuff too? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It can't just go one way.
Mm-hmm.
So I obviously I'm not of that subscription. I do believe that we do have the reins, if you will, in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly from the political angle, I don't know so much about the financial, but we need our government to have called something to let the Caymanian people know what's going on. We can't have an incident at a major sporting event, and we just act as if this is run of the mill thing. I mean, this is bold and brazen, and while I can't tell the police what to do, I would hate that the response is a constant stop you on the road and searching trunks.
Right.
I mean, we really need to move beyond that.
Yeah. But there is a press briefing for 3 p.m. today, as we're told.
Okay.
So we will be carried live, and of course all of the other government channels, the YouTube and whatever else, But Radio Cayman, since we're mobile, will be convenient for anybody who has to work and move about. They can have their radio listening apparatus handy, and they can hear if they can't necessarily watch.
At 3 p.m. you said?
3 p.m. today is what we've been told this morning. And I'm just double checking, as I said, that I don't see anything to say that has changed. So it's set for 3 p.m. today, a live press briefing, and Radio Cayman will take it live.
I trust that our reporters, and I trust that our officials will come there and not just give a superficial response, because I would love to hear a permit, really advise that we're going to leave no stone unturned. This is not where we need to be, and
yes,
and there's something drastically wrong. This isn't just about a few. This is somebody going completely berserk, stupid, or people.
Yeah.
And not caring, and so there needs to be we got to get a bottom of this. Well, this can't be the norm.
And like you said, I mean,
my daughter could have been there, and she's an avid footballer. My nephews could have been there. Never mind all the people who sadly were injured.
Exactly.
But it's at home,
Yeah.
It's home.
And listen to what you just said, right? You didn't say that you could have been there. You actually, as a father, as a a very strong civic-minded person, you worrying about other people that could have been there, the people that we actually care more about, like our parents and our children and our siblings, more than we care about ourselves, right?
Of course, and of course our country, because we have to live here outside of that bubble. Yeah.
So,
but thank you.
Yeah, man.
Erlen,
yes, sir.
Thank you, man. I just wanted to
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
I'm glad to hear that we're having a meeting at 3.
3 p.m. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll be updated if there's any things that we add to it. But thank you for sharing.
Thank you too.
All right, take good care of yourself. We have another call on our WhatsApp, so that means that the regular phone line 949-669-90 is open if you want to call that one. Let's go to the WhatsApp call. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. How are you?
Well, I had intended to call and speak about something else today. I was looking forward to it all weekend, but no, I'm actually sitting at home. I am still trying to
process,
get over the fact of process and get over the fact of how lucky I was last night. I was there at the football game. For the first time, and I think might be over 25 years, I hadn't gone to a football game.
So hear the words: Barkas, Bottomanu, football, person or people, and I come back to that why, because that plays into where we are. And if people don't or can't or refuse to see it, it's synonymous with the Cayman psyche and the society's values and ethos being significantly changed, and their concerns are seemingly. But anyway. If I sound a little bit more impassioned, it's not because I am not normally, but it's because I've had enough. So talk to me.
Yes, like I said,
yeah.
I've just been trying to process it all morning because I did attend the football game last
yes,
night, and I do believe, based on, I'll say this. Let me get to the point. I'll say this. I was sitting in the parking lot for at least about 15 minutes. When I got to the Ed Bush playing field, waiting on my friend to meet me there. She was a little late, and I'm not calling to throw any darts at the police or anything like that. But I was surprised that I hadn't noticed any police patrolling around the area. And then we stayed for maybe less than 10 minutes, I believe we stayed. And again, I didn't see any police.
Hello? Wow. Sorry.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah. I just want to make sure. You said you didn't see any police patrolling in the area. Is this prior to you hearing the shots or after?
Well, I personally didn't hear the shots. What happened is we didn't stay long. We stayed less than 10 minutes, I think. And we drove out, and she wanted to stop at a local bar in the area to get a Pepsi. So
Of course.
When we stopped there, we were at the little food stall there, and someone asked us if we heard the gunshots, and we said gunshots. And you know how close Ed Bush playing field is. And so I would assume, based on that short transit, that we must have just driven out before, before the shooting. And I don't even know what to say. All I can say is I do hope and believe that our government is going to ensure that something like this is not under a threat to happen again, because like I said, I was there for about 15 minutes in the parking lot. I didn't see any police patrolling, which I thought considering the circumstances over the past few weeks, and especially the location of the game, you would have thought police would have been patrolling the area ever so often.
Right.
And for
So,
me,
mhm.
15 minutes is a pretty long time that you would have seen, you would have likely seen a patrol vehicle. But then again, I don't know how often they do patrol, if and when they do. It could be maybe a half an hour interval or something. It's probably two vehicles
No, fair.
assigned to that.
Right. Sorry to interject. I just want to clarify. I just from my edification, everybody else may have it clear.
Right.
You're saying
Right.
you were there, you left, and you were where you were, but you did not see police while you were in the area at the
No,
game,
no.
at the local watering hole. In that short interval, you didn't see any police patrols. Now, that's what you're saying, right?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And you're also saying you don't know whether that, they may have passed prior, they may have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, every hour, an hour. We don't know what their patrols are. We don't either, but you didn't see them in that short time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood that from my own
Yes.
edification.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I also want to say, as far as I am aware, the Firearms Acts and Regulations are being updated,
Mhm.
and I thought that this was something we would have seen happen a bit sooner than now, but I'm hoping to feel confident that as of this incident, unfortunately, it may highlight the fact that we do need to modernize this legislation. It may not be a complete deterrent to crimes because, crimes are crimes. When people want to commit them, they commit them. But I do believe, based on our legislation right now, that the weakness and meekness of our legislation right now compared to everything else in our country, there is really no deterrent for some of the persons that are considering.
Okay, so for the people, right?
committing
Again, I'll
crime.
make everybody
Mhm.
start saying things properly. The plural of person is people. But come back to that in a second. Respectfully, modernize it. No, man, we just need we gotta get with the program. If we could be us, we could be us. If we could be somebody else and consume and subsume with them, let's do it. But for your modernization, you say that you would expect another legislation. How
Right.
and to what extent? Because you have that legal mind, right? Our legislation need to be modernized, and which legislation you're referring to specifically? But how do we modernize it?
Right. Well, I did mention the Firearms
Right, you
Act
did.
and
Uh-huh.
regulations. Yes, and there's also the Spent Convictions Act, which deals with when someone has served their sentence, and also when someone wants to have their records expunged and those sort of things. Both of those legislation kind of goes hand in hand with each other, in a manner of speaking. And I do believe, like I said, I mean, without sounding disrespectful to our governments,
Yeah.
to our governments, and I say governments meaning
Right.
the present, the immediate past, and the past governments, is that we went to bed one night and we woke up the next morning and there was a legislation that we couldn't feed the chickens and the cats because there was this hefty fine. And I say that to say that prioritizing certain acts and modernizing them is something that we need to really have a look at. Again, it's not to disrespect our government at all or say that they're not doing their jobs. I know for 19 legislators or parliamentarians, they have a lot of work on their agendas. I mean, some of them have 3 or 4 or 5 different portfolios, right? But we really need to prioritize. It's bare in our face that we need to prioritize certain acts to get them modernized, because if they're not going to deter people who are considering committing crimes, then what's the purpose?
Right.
You
Fair
know,
enough,
I mean,
fair enough.
this morning on a low, people are always criticizing Northwood Prison and saying, "Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy to go to Northwood Prison. It's compared to other jurisdictions, it's a very simple prison." But then on the other hand, if Northwood if Northwood was to become more severe, then of course our people are going to cry against that too, saying that their family members, human
Right.
rights are being breached and all that sort of thing. But when are we going to put a barrier there and say, okay, we need to put deterrent steps in place regardless of what they are? because now this is getting serious in a family event.
Right. So let me then ask you, Northward is something that we could discuss. I certainly agree with you. But the gun legislation, or however that's titled, firearms as you reference it. So we're going to modernize that. To your mind, your recommendation, or you're the parliamentarian, you're the consultant hired and paid big money because you came from overseas and you know everything, right? I mean, that's how we do it in this country. You're now proposing new legislation. What does that modernized legislation look like? More people with more guns, more police with more powerful guns, nobody with guns, patrol gun ships flying over with missiles. I mean, what does that modernized?
I can tell you this from what I've reviewed of the Firearms Act and so forth so far, is that the cost of importing firearms, number one, has to change. And I know there's going to be a lot of unhappy gun owners and members of the gun club. Members of the gun club that are not happy. But first and foremost, we have to raise the fees for importation of firearms and how those are imported. It's kind of complicated to go into now because it'd probably take the whole show. But first and foremost, I think that is one thing that needs to change. Also, the way that firearms are licensed, the way I think they need to change the scope of how. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought right now.
Okay.
Anyway, that's two good examples, because if you read the act and you see the minimum fees that are charged for firearms and for ammunition and so forth, it is really, I'm going to use the word outrageous. I'm surprised, based on all the firearm offenses that we've had over the past few years and murders, that the fees have not changed. And for me, changing the fees is one step in a deterrent.
Right.
Because,
but let me ask you, right? No, you're right. Sorry, let me ask you, since let's say we raise the fees from whatever they are to $1 million. I don't know. I just use an outrageous sum, right? We raise it to by 50%, we double the fee, whatever the fee is. These are law-abiding citizens who now have gone through whatever the process is, paid the fee, filled out the forms, done all the required things per the laws, right? Let's just say that. But you raise the fee and they grumble and complain, but they pay the fee, however that's done. But again, just a loosely generalized word, but the criminal, the one who doesn't want to go through that process for whatever reason, maybe it's the criminal with the criminal intentions, maybe the person that said they can't afford it, whichever. Do you think that raising the fees and the law-abiding citizen, you think that's going to make a difference to the criminal who will say, well, I don't care about the fees, I'm not planning to pay them anyway, it could be free, right? So would raising the fees make any difference?
I do believe it would make a fraction of a difference, because sometimes we can assume sometimes some of those guns may be brought in under the guise of being licensed or being a part of the gun club or for a private member. And we don't know where those guns end up or in whose hands. But then, like I said, I think the fees is one fraction of the law that needs modernizing. The way that they are, and like I said, it all for me reading the act, it's all of what the old people used to call part and parcel, right? Is that
that's what they say? Yeah.
One small change will make a bit of difference somewhere along the way, because we don't always necessarily know. I believe we don't always necessarily know or the full understanding that when we are allowed such free and reduced importation of firearms and ammunition, and at such a, for instance, the law says you pay, I think it's, don't misquote. I don't want to misquote it, but I don't have the law.
You pay something.
You're importing a certain amount of firearms under a minimal fee of, say, for example, $1,000. 5 firearms or 10 firearms coming in under $1,000. They might be going to the gun club. I don't know. I'm just hypothetically speaking, right? But there's really, based on how the law is crafted right now, there's really no definitive way of monitoring and saying, yes, they're being used by the gun club, or yes, they may not be going, or my nephew may not be taking my firearm out of my, I mean, I know they've been working on it because they've been monitoring and really cracking down on the safes that people are keeping their guns in. And this all may not be relevant to what happened last night and some of the other things that we've been seeing happening. But I do believe that the laws do need modernizing and changing, and this will, in whether it's a small fraction or a large fraction, help to curb some things with guns and the way that they're licensed, and you know, the type of procedures. It needs to be more stringent, because some of the you know, some of the licensing, if I remember correctly, has to go through the commissioner. Now we know our new commissioner, Mr. Walton, is relatively new in his job, so his authority is relatively new. He's just got his feet tucked into the water lightly. So you know, the previous commissioner had more to do with that, but you know, I still think there needs to be a bit more buckling down with how that is all done too, because any one of us, I mean, if you see the way that firearms can be licensed, it's not a loose or easy process to go through. But I mean, if someone could get one for as a farmer, because the farmers have a certain rights under the Firearm Acts too, that they are exempted from certain things. If I was a farmer, my dad's a farmer, and if he had, you know, he has a firearm, and I could have gone in there and take his firearm and gone and committed a crime. Now, how do we monitor that stuff? And you know, I'm not the expertise on that, but I do know that the laws need to be tightened up a bit and modernized, because everything else in Cayman, well, immigration and customs, I always go back to those two organizations, right? Because they're changing 2-3 times a year. They're reviewing their laws and changing up.
Right.
And so is the financial industry. And so all these other laws, I think, I mean, it's only one small department government that deals with this. Maybe we need to look at getting more staff, because there's at least, let me see how much it was last week. There was at least maybe about 15 different legislations that are before the commission, I believe is the name of it. But you know, they're reviewing these laws, and they're a small department.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look, I tell you what, I enjoy talking to you. I don't want to belabor that anymore and monopolize your time. I know we have another caller and a break.
You're so modest.
No, I'm trying to be understanding and respectful, because I know my parents raised me better. But I'm also, anyway, before we take the break, what else you want to share?
I just wanted to say that and my prayers go out to all the victims and their families. I know one person that was had to get an operation. A bullet grazed his back, but I just want to publicly say my prayers go out to the victims and their families. And I am I am so heartbroken that something like this happened in Cayman. This is historical, and I feel confident our government is meeting this afternoon at 1:30. I think the speaker said, the premier said in the parliament, and then they're going to do a press release at 3. So I know that they are working diligently to get this, and I hope it's something that whoever perpetrated the shootings, that I don't even know, because we don't know people's reasons. I don't know if it was.
Let's not speculate.
You know,
That's
all right. Whatever the case may be, but I just hope that you know, it's something that will never happen in Cayman again. That's all I want to say. But thank you very much, Dwayne.
You're most welcome. Talk to you soon, okay?
Having me on the show.
Okay, you're welcome. Let's pause, and when we come back, let's grab the other caller. Stay tuned.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care, close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go and flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britke. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
This is Ronnie Anglin. I work in the water sports industry. I'm concerned that our islands are at a high risk of coral bleaching and coral disease outbreaks. Rising sea levels, sea temperatures, and ocean acidification have caused catastrophic increases in the number and severity of coral bleaching events, disease, and death. Snorkeling and diving may one day not be an option. To learn more about climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for sharing as we go straight to the phones. Welcome, thank you for calling.
Captain.
Hey, General, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, you too. I hope everything is going all right with you.
It is. I'm with you.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Everything is going well with me, and I hope it is with you as well.
Sure. It's certainly painful, hurtful to see exactly what's happening in this little island. Let's examine some things. Take a hard look.
Yes, sir.
Into the lovely district of West Bay, where we all live. You and I live there. It is obvious that the elected people in West Bay, it's like they don't want to really pay us any mind. Since this government has been elected, show me what West Bay has got that is significant. Anything? No. Every other district, every other town, they got paved roads and other things. We have absolutely nothing. And the part that really bothers me the most, the people in my district does not have the balls to say what's going on here is unacceptable. In the whole island, about 19 politicians, I'm sorry. All we got there is people that are getting fantastic salaries and just staying on the sideline. And from my appearance, they're saying whatever happened, happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's two things that run this country from what I can see. That is money and sex. That's it. Okay? It sounds hard, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
In here, I'm talking about, oh, well, I don't mean to say this. Look, man, we are past the line, the red line. And until we decide that to hell with the government, we're going to take the power in our hands and do what we have to do, why it is that we do not try to get together and have, like, district councils in the island that has some say, has some teeth, that we can call some shots. Absolutely, they don't care what happened. About what happened Sunday night, shall I say this in not meaning to be negative, but the handwriting is on the wall. The worst is yet to come. Why in God's world can we not get up and have our own meetings like how we started in 2009, that we had most of the politicians, all of the police on their toes tipping? Because they had some people that tried to, not try to sabotage the council. Until we get up again and say, we are going to take some stand in this island, don't expect anything from the police. And I say this without fear of friction. Where is the police? Where are they? I'm not afraid of them because I know what they're doing is unacceptable. That's why I am saying, Sterling, that we need to get up and show broad shoulders and demand
Right.
more representation, better representation from our law enforcement. And you know what? Years ago, you remember, they couldn't get Caymanians because Caymanians had so much family that they couldn't prosecute. What we got now? We got basically, and I say it with a big mouth, a Jamaican police force, Jamaicans running the country, and nobody gives a hoot about what happened. Why are we so chicken that we cannot call a spade a spade? What's wrong with us? Telling me what you want me to say for you. You don't have a mouth too?
Yeah.
My friend, people that come from other countries begrudge, envy what we have here. And what I'm seeing here is nothing but a lot of sabotage that's going into this country. Okay?
An interesting point. I must say you're the third person in the last few hours who've shared that with me. You're the first to do so publicly, but I wrote it down. I was going to reference it earlier because apparently I was in the U.S. media. But go ahead. I know we have another call in a second, but you go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm not going to take up all day.
No, sir. Of course not.
We need to get our own little group together, like house meetings or whatever, have some real serious meetings and call the hands of the authorities.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they're going to talk about 3 o'clock at the, they're going to have a briefing or something.
There's a press briefing at 3 p.m., yes?
Yeah. And I can practically tell you really what I'm going to hear and what you're going to hear, but I resort to say that. It's nothing that's going to impress me. We need to have press briefing, not them, us. We need to have press briefing and tell them what we are demanding.
Yeah.
Until we decide that is the way to go, nothing's going to happen. I've been voting for the last probably 40, 50 years, and I've seen nothing of significant change. And then when election time comes, we are envying one another about you got to vote for this one and don't vote for it. That is a big joke. Sterling, thank you so much for having me on show, and have a pleasant afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you too for calling. 949-6990. WhatsApp call 925-32621. We'll pause quickly and then take the calls. Stay tuned.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
In 2022, 15 people lost their lives on Cayman's roads, and 2,915 road traffic collisions resulted in 32 serious injuries.
So far in 2023, 9 more people fell victim to road fatalities.
Parents lost sons and daughters.
Children lost their mothers, fathers, and caregivers.
Young lives were ended before they even began, and stories were cut short before they could be told.
But what if?
We learned to share the road.
We stopped texting and driving.
We did not let our friends drive after a few drinks.
What if we just took the time to slow down and think?
What if, as a community, we rose to the challenge of keeping our roads safe? What if we came together to stop these accidents and fatalities?
What if we all walked the road to zero and decided no more in 2024?
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for calling. The 949-6990 is available. That's the only landline that we got that you can call, but the WhatsApp 925-32621, we'll take that call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Yeah, hello?
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
Am I on?
You are on air. We can hear you. How are you?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Sir, if you are on the speaker, we're not hearing you as clearly, unless you're in the gym working out and hitting the punching bags, but
Okay.
that's much better, sir.
The
Yeah.
headset. Now
Yeah.
I'm speaking straight into the phone.
Yeah,
You
yes.
hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, the situation in this country, government formulates or create different group of people, like boards, councils. I have to ask a question because I've been hearing a lot of stuff on here about crime, this and crime that. But isn't this the responsibility? Crime is the responsibility of our National Security Council. What do they do? What is the function of them? What does that board do? I mean, if you're there and you hear and see all this crime, are they making recommendations to the lawmakers? Are they meeting with the chief of police and you know, putting forward what needs to be done, because they are the one living within the community and they see what needs to be done. I always wonder, what are these boards for? What are they doing? Do they function, or they just meet and say, okay, we had a meeting, but what is coming from those meetings? Because in this case now, the premier is getting the blame. That, I don't think that is correct. The government formulates these boards to look about different things in our country, different aspect of whatever it is, operation, could be crime. You know, I've seen it on on almost every company government has. The CIA, the port, they all have boards. But what the board does? What? I don't hear anything coming from the board. They just sit there quietly, unless that's the way they operate. I mean, secretly, I don't know. But let me get back now to the police. The reality of this, and I don't care who likes what Stanley Hill say today.
Yes, sir.
There is the majority of our policemen, we know they are from Jamaica. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not discriminating. I'm not putting them down or anything. I'm speaking the fact. Jamaican police are not coming here to put themselves in danger, to put themselves in danger to police the Cayman Islands, because they have a population of their own people here with some, get me wrong now, I'm not, like I say, I'm not putting the Jamaicans down. Some of them have criminal minds. They're very criminal minded, some of them. And these guys are scared that if they arrest certain Jamaicans, they stop, arrest them, whatever, they usually threaten their families and say, I will call my man in Jamaica and have your family shot. And I'm telling you, it's the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I see it in the construction. You can put a Jamaican guy, nice guy, put him foreman. He will not speak to those other Jamaican men on your job site for the same reason. We are in a pickle.
Right. So let me
we are in a bad pickle.
Mr. Hill, if I might ask you, right? And given your expertise, your experience, what you observe and the like, correct me if I'm recalling incorrectly. It was said many times, and even up until recent times, but it was said a long time ago, as well up to recent times, that we couldn't hire Caymanians to be in the police because, as a caller alluded to, we know everybody, we're family to everybody, so we won't be fair, we won't be able to do the job because it would be our families, right? Was that what you recall being told to the community?
I hear that also.
Right.
I hear that excuse also.
So if yes, sir.
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
thank you. If that was something that was sold to us, and you're now just moments ago shared something that we're all hearing, and it may be about the police from Jamaica, it may be the Jamaicans who own a construction site, but it may be also about other nationalities, from the Canadian to the guy from the UK to anybody from any other country. If those things, given the size of our population, for me, the diverse mix of people from almost everywhere, the 100 plus nationalities, I see it as a great thing. But if that is happening in Jamaica, and we've seen it on the construction sites, if you've relayed firsthand, and we're hearing it about other industries from policing to hospitality, could that not also be something to be concerned about?
Very much.
I'll share with you. I just asked a fellow to clarify. He is was a bus driver, taxi or a bus driver, right? I can't call it public transport because it's not. But he had shared a long time ago, and I do confess that since 2020, a week seems like a year, right? So he might have been 3 years ago, it might have been 15 years ago, but it seemed like a long time ago. He had shared generally that there was a fellow who would come on his bus and refused to pay the $2 fare. And reportedly, he would make comments that some would say, oh, he just, run up him out. He bluffing, he not really mean anything. But the driver took it as being serious. Now I got translated. He said the fella come on and he refused to pay the fare and said, I'll ride this as I want when I want, and don't bother to ask me anymore unless I know I got to do you in and whichever, right? Similar to what you shared. Allegedly, he made a complaint to the public transport unit, about this particular individual, and little or nothing could be done or was done. Now, it may just be a one-off. It may just be somebody being a bully, if you want to use that term today, or just being, obnoxious or whichever. So, can I somehow ask through you, recognizing how inflamed we are, how traumatized some of us may be, how incensed, how outraged, how afraid, and how easy it is for us, you're not doing that, right? But you inspire me to ask this, to start to castigate and point fingers, and probably justifiably, at the politician and the police and at different things. How do we now say, listen, if this thing is happening in our community, how do we respond, right? So as an example, let's say the problem was people were, chewing their chewing gum and just throwing it everywhere. I mean, everybody had enough of it, but everybody was doing it. But nobody did anything about it. Nobody said anything because, they didn't want to be seen as a bad person. They didn't want to be disrespectful and all that. Is anything going to get done if nobody says or tries to do anything?
I totally agree.
Yes, sir.
And that's the problem.
Yes,
Caymanians will not speak out.
Fair enough.
They're cowards, and they're afraid of losing some finance that they're getting from somewhere.
But
okay,
respectfully though, sorry to interject. But if what you're saying is what Caymanians have become, I don't see you as being such. I'm not. I know my father isn't, right? But from what you just said, it's not just Caymanians. You just said that your construction site observation is that the Jamaican supervisor, foreman, or other worker will not say anything harsh or critical or any which way to another Jamaican worker out of fear of what, one would say to the other, hey, listen, I'll deal with your people back home. That's pretty much paraphrasing what you shared, right?
That is it.
Okay, so again, the Caymanian might refuse to because of whatever reason. They want the award and they want the praise and the promotion and the pay and they want all these things. But maybe the Jamaican will not because of the same consequence back home. The Indian, the Filipino, the Canadian, the American, the Englishman, the whatever of the 1,000+ nationalities are here, right?
You're speaking of different cultures here.
No. I'm hearing you. I'm trying to understand the perspective, sir.
Well, we have a lot of the Jamaican nationals here. The Jamaican nationals here right now, they are in control, basically, of this country because they're in all aspects of our economies, different economies. Like you say, the road, buses, construction, the cleaning of the cars, mechanic shops, the refrigeration companies, they're all in control of those areas. So they feel that they're in control also. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go that far.
No. I'm listening to you. I mean, just trying to understand, sir. I'll be honest with you, man. It's getting to a place where we need to work together, right? But talk to me.
Yeah, you want to hear my solution?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
I don't have a solution now. I'm not just one there that auditioning for free speech.
No. You have a solution. Yes, sir. Yeah.
My solution is that how many students are we putting out of our high school yearly? It's probably close to 800 by now.
Mm-hmm.
All of them
Mm-hmm.
together. They can't become we must get a group of them, enough of them to recruit, go into school, recruit them, give them incentive, good pay, and we're going to send you away to a professional police academy to let you learn police work. We used to do it back in the 70s or 80s, I think it was.
Yes,
that is one solution. You give him more incentives with, well, I don't say the pay, good pay. Give him a break on his taxes. When I say tax, like if he's buying a piece of property, you give him a break on his, what I call it again, interest rate.
Right.
Through the bank, work through the bank with them. I mean, they have a program like that now, I think, where they're guaranteeing loans for people to build homes through the bank. Give them that as an incentive. And there could be many more, but I have to really start and thought of more that would encourage Caymanians to get in the force and take the country back when it comes to policing. Because I tell you what I see on the road, it is ridiculous. And I said before, they are not coming here to put themselves at risk for us. And I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the consequences that they're faced with if they ever buck up on certain criminals on the road. Trust me, they're not that hero. They're no heroes. Those guys are not heroes. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have said enough because I don't want to go any further, but I would say one more thing. I've watched 2 English, or Great Britain, or whatever you want to call it, police commissioner came to these islands over the years, and I don't think one of them lasted health until that force.
Sorry, repeat. Sorry, excuse me, sir. That was your salient point, and we missed it because of you didn't see one, and then it got garbled.
Pardon?
Repeat that last piece because it broke up. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I witnessed 2 police commissioners from the UK came to these islands to run our police service. Listen to what I'm saying. Service.
Sir,
we don't have a police force. Because the thing about that, they don't want to advertise the Cayman Islands as a police force. We just do a service. So we get you your driver's license. We'll get you your police record so you can get a passport or whatever. But we don't have a force here. We don't need it. We don't have crime. We're selling the world a bunch of lies.
Okay. So
don't even want to call it a police force no more. It's called a service.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll get back to the 2 people of police.
Yeah.
One of them didn't even stay here a year. And I can only assume that he was scared. Can I say S-H-I-T? L-E-S-X? And I don't say the word, but that's what he was. He was scared out of his wits. To manage those police, it was like over 400 or 500 policemen in that service at the time.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them came and left, went right back home.
Right.
Okay? And I hope that the command, what do you call him now?
The new commissioner?
Chief there now, Mr. Walton,
yes, sir.
Commissioner, has enough patience with them. But I would suggest for Mr. Walton, the Commissioner Walton, to start getting in these schools.
Yeah. So let me ask, if I might. Yeah. Mr. Hill, I know you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you. I enjoy listening to you because I learn a lot. Let me ask 2 questions based on what you just shared. You talk about the police service and the like, right? If we have, it's implicit in what you shared that you don't buy what's being sold, right? But if we have a police service and yet we have firearms response unit. So we obviously have armed police on patrol, very noticeable. And if it's the tourists and the international media and investors that we're concerned about, how does what you shared in not wanting to publicize, that we have a police force, reconcile with the fact that we have armed police in supermarkets driving around in noticeable marked armed vehicles? The two seem to conflict. Or do they to you?
No, they can't conflict because they are a special unit.
Based on what?
They're not in our roads 24/7, 24 hours.
No, respectfully, sir, I disagree. The firearms response unit, I'm told the practice was they would be deployed when summoned, but they're out and about constantly. The big SUVs that are noticeable, whether there are others or not, but just those very recognizable ones because they have the letters on it, they're very noticeable on the streets. So they're not just responding when called. They're on patrol frequently. The present commissioner did say in response to the last incident, they're going to see more armed patrols, and we have.
Fair enough.
And we also see those same police officers in our supermarkets walking in one door and out the next and buying, just like you would in the States and other places where the police have guns. We've seen it here on a frequent basis.
Well, I think whenever you see the unit out like that, there's something brewing. And they can't help but bring their ammunition.
Okay. So let me then ask the question, and then that leads on to that. When you said send our students or people off to be trained, to police academies and the like, are you of the view that we're going to deploy more police with more guns, more weapons, more whatever it is? Forgive the phrase, more firepower. We give them more budget and they have more equipment. That would be your.
I would say more firepower,
yeah.
But it would be more interest in keeping the country within the law.
So armed police with guns will make the country safer?
That would have to depend now on the Security Council again to tell them what they would love to see happen.
But then we just question who are they, what are they doing, what's their remit, and what authority they had. I'm just, because my respect for you and what you shared, I'm just interested in learning more. Right? If what you said earlier,
you're gonna have to come to my college.
Well, listen, I appreciate you making a seat for me. I'll ask one of the questions, but you can, let me leave that be. I was gonna ask about.
I understand what you're saying. That even if
yes,
we're
sir.
bringing about 500-600 Caymanian police,
yes, sir.
Are we going to arm them? Or will they make a difference in carrying out the law? I said yes.
Yeah.
And I told you why. I told you the first reason why.
Yes, sir.
The Caymanian police they will not get no threats because they live here. The families are here. And I told you the reason why we have to put more Caymanian police in our service.
All right. You know what? I think when your schedule allows you need to come in and join us. There's a seat here for you. This is a very equal and inviting table where all feel, welcome and respected. So whenever you're ready, you let me know. We'll find a place to sit next to me. All right?
Okay, sir.
All right. You have a good afternoon, sir.
Same here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hill. You're welcome, sir. I believe we need to take a break. Thanks, Mr. Paul. And we will take calls as they come in because all the lines are free now.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Cayman Islands Governor, Premier, Commissioner of Police and Members of Parliament will hold a press briefing today at 3 p.m. in relation to the shooting incident at the Ed Bush Football Stadium in West Bay. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service reported that shortly after 9 p.m. on Sunday, February 25th, police and other emergency services responded to a report of shots fired during a football match at the Ed Bush field. Further reports revealed that several persons arrived at the Georgetown Hospital with serious injuries. An investigation into this incident is ongoing. Good afternoon once again. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines in news elsewhere. Alexei Navalny was about to be freed in a prisoner swap when he died, according to his colleague Maria Pevchik. She said the Russian opposition leader was going to be exchanged for Vadim Krezikov, a Russian hitman who is serving a life sentence for murder in Germany. 2 U.S. citizens currently held in Russia were also going to be a part of the deal, Ms. Pevchik claimed. She claimed negotiations were at their final stage on February 15th. And figures from the entertainment industry have paid tribute to actor Chris Gauthier, who has died at the age of 48. Luton-born Gauthier was known for playing Smee in fantasy adventure series Once Upon a Time. Talent representative Chad Colvin said he was a textbook definition of a character actor. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Water Authority is empowering the future and building a legacy in STEM through its annual scholarship program. Applications are now open for the scholarship, valued at up to $40,000, for a student pursuing an undergraduate academic or technical vocational degree or diploma in a STEM subject relevant to the Authority's work. The deadline to apply is February 29th, 2024. Visit www.waterauthority.ky to apply today.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. It is Open Line, and before we take this call just quickly, one of our listeners says, please, militarizing our country is not the answer. How about we deal with the causes of the increase in violence and the decline in the quality of life for our people? What happened to the Yolanda Ford report and recommendations? These knee-jerk responses to the effects of violence are not effective, strategic, nor sustainable. All right, let's take this call. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon.
Haha. And to you, all the best, man. Thanks for calling.
Thanks. I heard one of your callers on there ranting and raving about how we need to change the firearms law and sort of trying to muddle that issue up with the whole issue of private firearm ownership. And I just want to say that because we don't have a whole lot of time.
You go ahead, man. No more breaks, I'm told, to the end of the show.
What the caller said was absolute garbage. She has no idea what she's talking about regarding the Firearms Act. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Section 3(4) of the Firearms Act deals with importation. Section 15(5) deals with unlawful possession or possession. And when it talks about the penalty for either unlawful importation or unlawful possession, it says that the penalty is 20 years in prison and up to $100,000 in fines. Now, the minimum, if you don't admit to unlawful possession or importation, is 10 years. If you confess right off the bat, you get 7 years. But make no mistake about it. If the police and the courts wanted to be harsh on this type of crime, they could. They have the power to do so. They could put someone away for 20 years if they wanted to.
Right.
And they could charge a $100,000 fine.
I want to hear you. I want to understand, but I just want to quickly ask. You said unlawful possession and importation?
Yeah, when you're dealing with, when you want to, let's say you unlawfully bring a firearm into the country. Section 3(4) of the Firearms, the current Firearms Act. These are not desired future powers.
Right.
This is the current law. The penalty is prescribed as being 20 years in prison.
Right.
And not or, and 100,000.
Right. So, but what?
But 1 second. But what the Interpretation Act does, it says that when things are specified in that way, it is implied that that's the maximum.
Right. I've heard that.
That's section 42 of the Interpretation Act.
Right. But what constitutes unlawful importation, unlawful possession?
When you bring it into the country without declaring it to customs.
Okay. And I want you to speak to everything, right? So I'm glad you called in, and if it's not the appropriate time to ask, certainly want to revisit. But I'm just curious, given only the media account, not the comments from it, but just the media account of the court case recently, which seemed to have indicated that in the case of that importation of the assault rifle and all the other guns, that the person had declared it. So therefore, there wasn't an issue.
If they actually declared it to customs,
right,
then that person is following the law.
Right. And the reason why I'm asking is that I gather that the perception prior to that, and very specifically, I asked a few people, again, not exhaustive, it wasn't an empirical nor scientific study, what was their perception. These are otherwise, reasonable thinking, law-abiding, decent people, and their perception was if you wanted to import a firearm into the country, you needed to first have a license. You couldn't just go buy it somewhere and then come in and declare it.
Not accurate.
No. We now realize the court ruling saying that's not the case. What I'm saying, that was that was a person's perception, right? That's what they thought. Now, ignorance one way or the other. So, well, maybe it's not for you to answer, but I'll ask. So many people have now asked, I live in Cayman, I have PR, I'm on a work permit, I have status, I have go back generations. I'm now away, not me personally, because I don't care for guns, right? They go away, they see a gun, ooh, that's a fancy gun, I like that. They buy it, they declare it on entry. Can that person now legally, given this recent court case, legally bring that gun into the country?
Well, what the requirements are is that you if you don't have
a license,
a permit, not a license.
Oh, permit. Okay.
Permit, you would declare it to customs saying that you don't have a permit. You turn it over to customs in a sealed container. This is prescribed in the law. Read section 456 of the Firearms Act.
Yeah, okay.
You'll see it.
Right.
It's spelt out in detail. And then you go away, you get the import permit and the license, and you go back to customs. Well, essentially what will happen, police will clear it from customs and hand it over.
Right.
But there are people in certain parts of government that are extremely hostile to private firearm ownership.
Okay.
The commissioner of police being one of them, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And for the life of me, I don't see how you could give to the commissioner of police the responsibility to administrate a law to which he's hostile.
Mm.
There seems to be a conflict there.
Okay.
That's not right. The Legislative Assembly enacted a law allowing for lawful ownership. And I want to say something.
Right.
When you're dealing with unlawful, you can't take and penalize people who are following the law for the actions of people who are not following the law. This is part of the problem I had with the caller in your show, because she was making it seem as if, when they say get the guns off the street and guns, and they don't say, well, lawfully owned firearms or unlawfully owned firearms. That distinction is important.
Right.
Right. The law makes the distinction because in one instance where you're doing things according to the law, you can possess a firearm. If you're doing it unlawfully, then you get in trouble. It's very simple. But for her to sit there and make it seem as if somehow, if we could only update the Firearms Act, we might be able to get a hand. That's total ignorance. I mean, I can't express to you how ignorant that statement is. First of all, there will be some people in society. You just said you don't care for guns.
No. I mean, that's
No, but just listen to me.
No. I'm hearing that.
So someone is attacking you at your home. And they have firearms.
Right.
And you call 911. Do you want the police to come and rescue you with the ability to overpower the person who's attacking you?
That's an excellent question, and I actually would even want to go one step further in that. Why is it, if I'm inferring from what you're sharing, right? If I may put it this way, the criminal minded won't worry about importation, won't worry about paying fines, get the import permit and license, right? So whatever it is that has to be done for the law-abiding person won't be complied by that person who at that time or with that intent.
Exactly.
Okay. So in that sense.
But there's another element to it too. There are some people who say, well, I don't believe in the use of force. Unless, of course, they're being attacked and they want someone to use force to save them.
So what's wrong with the use of force?
Nothing is wrong with the use of force, just like you would have, let's say you have a knife and fork.
Yeah.
With a knife and fork, you could sit at the table and you can eat your lunch and then you can go back to your lawful employment.
Right.
And everything is cool.
Yeah.
Or you could take that knife and fork and you can attack someone unlawfully and kill them with it.
Right. But take to your point.
So
Yeah.
force is neither good nor evil.
Right. And if you want help with moving that boulder from that point so that you can, I need to exert force on it, right?
That's right.
But if we put force in the context that is being implied relative to use against someone else, that knife and fork, like the pen that you may be signing your autograph, could be used to injure someone. But like the tongue,
and the police
yeah,
show up with a knife and fork and defend you too.
Right. You see, I think that the wider picture is the dispossession of the rights of law-abiding citizens, the willingness of societies, this one in particular, to prescribe and protect the rights of non-law-abiding citizens at the expense of others, right? The seemingly acceptance that, oh no, we can't do that because that'll infringe on human rights. If you would guide me to your question.
What? Give me an example
So,
when you're talking about
right.
infringing on human rights.
So yeah, I was going to do that. So to your example, right? A person is at home, is awakened by some noise, by some intruder. So whatever hour of the day or night, this person has not been invited, not welcome, not expected in that home, right?
Right.
Whether they're armed with a gun or some other weapon, and the person in the home attempts to defend. Now we know other jurisdictions have, stand your ground laws, as I'm told by the media, as it's phrased. We know in the UK, as I'm told, that you can't use anything more than reasonable force, right? So, for instance, again, as I'm told by people who presumably know more about this thing, let's say you go to bed and as part of your alarm system, you don't have a guard dog, you didn't lock your gate, you didn't set your electronic alarm, you put some heavy anvil above your door because you've experienced break-ins, and if somebody comes through, the anvil will hit them and more than likely kill or seriously injure them. Oh no, you can't do that. That's unreasonable. You're familiar with that example?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that example.
But you're doing what you think would protect you and yours in your premises, right? Everybody knows, and then when the morning wakes up or whenever you go, you then move that anvil from above the door as you would disengage your alarm system or put your dog back in its fenced area. All those other things are okay except this big piece of steel beam that you set above your your door frame. Why is that unreasonable? It would appear from
they're gonna argue, well, you don't really know what the person is breaking in to do and all that kind of stuff. So
exactly, right?
Right.
So,
but I mean, personally, I wouldn't do those types of things.
No. What would you do?
No. I would own a firearm. I would own other types of devices that I could use, like pepper spray, and other types of small devices that I could use depending on what the circumstances are.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, but the point that I'm trying to get across here is that most of the people who are commenting about what we need to do to address this issue know absolutely nothing about firearms.
Right. But see, and this is why I would learn from you. Not that's right. But let me be deliberate, provocative, and saying what I said by using that example, right? I'm not saying it's reasonable, unreasonable, just showing you how when you ask, we seemingly would say that the rights of the criminal minded or whatever, we're infringing on them, but you, the law-abiding homeowner, just put your children to bed, got your little kitty, and put her away in her little space for the night, and you think your family is all safe, and here comes this intruder. You don't know what the intent is. Maybe they just wanted, have a little bit of, the banana bread that you made. Who knows what they're up to, all right? But you can't do anything more than reasonable. So let's say two things. One, you own a gun, you're a licensed gun owner, and this is in the Cayman context, and you hear a noise, it's on your premises, the person is coming through your door, and you shoot first and ask questions later. Is that reasonable?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
I wouldn't shoot first and ask questions later.
All right. Okay.
I would make sure that he hears the slide on the firearm rack
Yeah.
which is a recognizable sound internationally.
Okay.
And I would say in an audible voice, "Get out of my house."
Okay, fair enough.
I have a gun.
Okay.
And I would call 911.
Right. So let
I
me.
would have them on the line
Yeah. Okay.
for the balance of whatever transpires, which I can't tell you what that may be.
No, fair enough. So let me take your point, and let's say then the person on the other end, right? Hears that or anticipates that or doesn't care. I don't know who can speak to a person's intent, but the person on the other side has a gun, whatever that looks like, how many bullets it carries, what kind of gun, decides that to shoot through this door, glass door, wooden door. They shoot through that door first and then enters. You, God forbid, but whoever's on the other side now is maimed, killed, seriously injured, right? Is how.
Well, that wouldn't be me.
No. But what I'm saying is,
I know.
Yeah, the person approaches the door, intending to come in, doesn't care who's on the other side, fires first and then asks questions. Not just you specifically, but you, the law-abiding homeowner, with or without a licensed gun, waits, before they do anything, and see what this other person on the other side who's coming in uninvited. You see the challenge that we have. You can't defend yourself. You got to wait.
No. I can.
Yeah.
That's spoken exactly like someone who doesn't understand how to defend themselves with a firearm.
No. But hear me.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you what I would do.
No. I'm not asking you, sir. No.
The reason why I'm not gonna tell you is because, God forbid that I find myself in that situation. I don't want someone to know what I would do.
No.
However,
respectfully, okay.
Having said that, I can assure you that your example wouldn't be the way that it played out.
No. But what I'm saying is, no, fair enough, right? And I get that. But what I'm trying to say, we have the same scenario. On one side of the door is the homeowner. Let's use the premise with a licensed gun, and we're told that person can't shoot first and ask questions later. Just to use the media sort of parlance, right? Yeah. That's a problem. That person is going to get in trouble for whatever reason. Who knows what the consequence would be? A law-abiding citizen with a duly permitted firearm or whichever in her premises. On the other side of the door is someone, who's awakened the law-abiding homeowner. This person now has whatever kind of gun, opens fire, and then comes in. You see where we're protecting.
No. What I'm saying is all of your concerns that you raised. I'm very deliberate in not wanting to say what I would do and why your example is ridiculous, right?
Okay.
Because I want to preserve.
No, respectfully.
That, right?
Respect.
However, all of your concerns can be addressed by someone understanding how to use firearms in a situation of self-defense. That's basic education.
Mm-hmm.
It's basic. This is the point I'm making. These type of examples are given by people who don't understand.
Yeah.
It wouldn't play out that way.
Okay, we're losing. Yeah, we're losing that part there. But go ahead. All right.
I said that it wouldn't play out that way with someone who is informed about how to defend themselves.
Right. No. I hear you, and I think we're both to the untrained mind dancing the same tone.
The point I want to make is that you read a comment from someone who said that these are knee-jerk reactions that people are. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
These are knee-jerk reactions by people who are ill-informed about this subject.
Right. Okay. I actually looking for a call from him because it's something I've been trying to put together for my benefit, but maybe let me call you between now and sunset. All right?
Okay.
All right. Thanks very much, sir.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
I like people who are informed and who will read laws and who will share. I believe we can take one more call. I'm told the caller has been waiting for an extended period of time. Thank you for holding on to your patience. Welcome.
Hi, Sterling. How are you?
Always excellent. Always thankful. How about you?
Okay, that's good. It's all good in the Brock so far. Nobody has shot us up here yet. But we know that won't be long. But anyhow, it's really sad to wake up this morning and see that splashed all over your social media and all your news agency pages. Well, some of them, not all of them, I don't think had it. But the fact is, why is it that we are not taking note of what has really taken place here with all these guns? Sterling, we have discussed this on the talk shows for years, and I'm sure you, along with me, have done it, or others has done it. And while I appreciate that, yes, people are entitled to have their license and have their ammunition, and once it's protected, and it has to have a double lock protection as far as I can remember from being with one of my exes that had a gun and had it licensed. It had to be under 2 locks as far as I could remember. And when I look back at Hurricane Ivan, let's look back to Hurricane Ivan. Sterling, I saw this with my own eyes for days on end. Driving back into West Bay, because I lived in West Bay for 12 and a half years, and that was during Ivan as well. I saw people coming out of the condos along 7 Mile with these silver cases, which we all know majority of those are gun cases, or cases that are used for holding guns in them. And I'm not saying that those individuals who had them in those condos didn't have them under the double lock. I wouldn't know.
Right.
But my point of that is, people broke into these condos during the aftermath of Hurricane Ivan and walked with a lot of these guns and ammunition out of these condominiums that were being kept there by whomever, either local residents, people who live there here, or or the seasonal owners that come,
Right.
And I remember seeing the now Commissioner of Police, Mr. Walton, out one evening, and I told him about that. I said, that concerns me because every single day that I drive that stretch, I am seeing people breaking in or walking out of these condos or riding. I saw a guy riding into West Bay one day with 4 of those silver cases hooked up on the handlebars, and he had one up against his chest, riding with it. And that what does that tell me? That tells me that a lot of ammunition got stolen after Hurricane Ivan out of the condominiums. Was it reported? We don't know, because, of course, we're not transparent in this country. We say we are, but we actually only talk the talk. We don't actually walk. So that is my perception as a citizen of this country. And I also told Mr. Walton that these guns are being collected by a couple of independent entities on the island, and they're being rented out when they need to commit a criminal offense. And this is another reason why you can't find them.
Okay. So
because they go back in hiding until they're needed again for another criminal act.
Right. So recognizing the time, but let me ask, given what you said, going on the premise that is accurate, what's the solution? What do we do about it now? That was 20 years ago. Maybe there are more guns, maybe whatever. Right? But given what's...
I remember, and you should also remember, the amnesty thing that we did for years here. It really got a lot of guns off the street. Remember?
Did it?
It sure did. Didn't you remember seeing the photos, or were those fake?
Let me share with you what I heard people say. Oh, arrest a gun that has no use, right? But again, to the point, if a person has a gun, they have procured it illegally for whatever reason, whether it's a law-abiding person who wants protection, or whether it's a person with a criminal intent, doesn't matter. You think that person is going to give up that gun, whether it was a gift, whether they paid through the nose for it, because there's an amnesty?
Well, if they don't have the license and they don't want to be held accountable for anything, should someone break into their property and steal it and go commit an offense?
Right. But I'm not saying
You
that
know,
the
I'm just
amnesty.
saying, be proper citizens of this country. We are the small. How small are we?
Okay, so let me revisit
the
what.
size of
Yeah, sorry. Let me revisit what you just shared. Right. Let me revisit. I agree that if we offered up an amnesty, whether it's for your overdue library book, whether you overstaying in the country, whether you have an illegal weapon of sorts, that might help those people who found themselves in that situation for whatever reason, however long. Not an issue. I'd rather see us rehabilitate than to punish, right? But
right.
Okay, so I agree. Like I said, it could be an overdue library book that you just discovered after renovating. Geez, you never did return this, and it's been 40 years, and the fines in that book is $1 zillion. But secondly, if, as you've alleged, that these illegal guns are now in the hands of some entities who, for whatever reason, may have it rented out like you would a car, if that is the perception or the reality, how do we address that?
We have the people in power in places that have the training to know how to deal with
Who?
it. I'm not the one to tell them how to deal with it.
Who are these people?
We have the authorities. We have our police.
Okay.
Are you saying that our police aren't trained and equipped to do any kind of further in-depth investigations and stuff into certain locations and people and areas? I mean, some of those 20-foot, 40-foot containers are being stocked with guns.
Are they? But if this is widely accepted, right? I mean, you said it, and everybody else at some point said they heard somebody say it. So if that's the perception, then obviously, well, let me phrase it.
Well, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire, is it not?
I don't know.
Last night. Suppose what would have happened if there was a major massacre of all of those people, as many people at that game last night? Where is the gunman or woman? We don't even know who it is.
Whether we don't know whether it's one person or more than one person. We don't know whether it was one gun, whichever.
Footage at that field.
Mm-hmm.
There's no CCTV. Every one of our places that host a lot of public people, like games, should have CCTVs going, cameras set up. They could only be turned on at the events. That's the only time they're used, and they're monitored and recorded. The entire event is recorded. That's how we have to be proactive. I know you got to go, but this is our radio station, and we should have the right to ask you to stay 10 more minutes for us to say our piece. We pay to keep it on the air, right? The minute we stop paying taxes in this country and rebel against the government, you won't have a job. I'm not saying it's your fault.
No.
But as a voter in this country, I have a right to demand that I get 10 more minutes of airtime on this radio station because OC don't give you none.
Okay, well, you can make all the demands you want, but I'm sure we're not going to be heard today.
I understand.
All right, take care, right?
But anyway, thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah. All right, thanks very much to that caller. And thanks to all who've shared. Thanks to the many messages that I read but did not get a chance to answer. What I can maybe ask of us in the most respectful way, I think I hear the anxiety and the frustration, the growing concern and the ease and willingness with which we are prepared to point fingers and castigate, and some of it may be justified. My father always would share with us, he always tells us, don't let fear paralyze you, because then you can't think and then you can't respond appropriately and civilly in a manner that would actually bring about a meaningful outcome. So as much as we may feel that way, perhaps we can withdraw to prayer. If you are feeling angst, please again speak to your primary care physician, your psychiatrist, psychologist, and therapist. There's no shame in that. And if you feel that way and you might say, man, I wasn't even there, I only heard about it, and you feel away, you feel a little bit uneasy, there's nothing wrong with that. That's probably very common. Don't ignore that. Don't self-medicate in any which way. You may take your frustration out on the punching bag. I wish I could do that now, but my shoulders won't allow it. That won't solve it. You can cuss, scream, rant, and rave, have a drink. That won't solve it. You may not subscribe to prayer. I do. But I'll say this to you. Please let us look at the solutions. Let us consider whether a community who is willing to come together and say enough is enough. The answer isn't taken to the streets with violence. It isn't just lamenting that the politicians are inept and whatever else we might say about the churches and the police and the parents and the schools. There may be some truth in all of that. But the answer, I believe, honestly, is thinking rationally and clearly, joining it together for those who subscribe to prayer, and seeing what we can do. Not just pray, but do. And do in a civil way. If we're going to organize a march against violence, it isn't because we're looking political points or we're trying to show some sort of public thing. If we're concerned about the international media and now we are, making headlines in a negative way, yes, that may be a concern, but that shouldn't be our major concern. I'm not saying that from a government's perspective. It needs to be from us as a people, all of us who live and work here, whether we intend to make it our homes for generations, or as soon as we make our next million or our first million, we're gone. If you love this place and you want to be safe and secure, you want to be able to ensure that you can move about freely, whether on the beach or in the deck somewhere as you ride and watch the sunset, we all have to own it, to recognize that we need to do something collectively and to be our brother's keeper. If we know that there are criminal elements in our offices, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, what are we doing about it? Well, punishing the law-abiding citizen isn't the answer. Allowing criminals to go, and continue to act with impunity because we are probably understandably afraid. Well, maybe that's understandable, but is it what we should do? Again, please, let us try to be as responsible, as respectful, and as civil. And as we call and lament to our politicians and our pastors, let's find a way that we can do something that actually works and makes this community a safe, amazingly wonderful place that it is and can be. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll talk to you when I talk to you.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949